What's going on, everybody? Darren here from Good Start. Today we'll be going over the Reharm hack. I'll be breaking this hack down in 3 different levels. Level 1 will be a simple explanation. Level 2 will go into our major 7 voicings. And then level 3 we'll get into our progressions, primarily our 2-5-1 progressions. This hack is good for all levels. As long as you are comfortable with your major scales, you will be able to utilize this hack at least at its first level. I'll be going from simple to a bit busy, but keep in mind there are just colors for you to utilize, and it's up to you to determine how you use your colors to create your masterpiece. So let's get into level 1 and learn the basics of this hack. In level 1, we'll keep our left hand to power chords, meaning just a 1 and a 5. All throughout. And then our right hand, we're going to play 1 chord the whole time. And what we'll do to find this chord, how we're going to use a trick to find a chord is, we're going to find the melody note. So if the melody note is on C, we got C in octaves. So we got the melody note up top, octave C below, and then we're going to build basically a suspended 4th chord, which means the 4 and the 5 together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, suspended 4 chord. And now we're almost there. So all we got to do now to go into the hack, we find the major scale a half step above the melody note. So if the melody note is C, a half step up is C sharp or D flat. So we just play our power chords on our left hand in the D flat scale while using our suspended 4 off of the melody note. So a rule of thumb that I have is, unless I'm going to resolve and end all of my chord movements, then I won't go to the major chord of the one. I'll wait and I'll stay suspended. And then when I'm ready to finish, I can resolve that and make it fully major. Or you can stay suspended the whole time. You don't have to ever resolve it. Either one is up to you. So let's look into some examples of all of these chords so we can see how our hands look. So we got the root note, we got the first one, the C sharp. And then for me, how I look at it different levels. So the colors that are less dissonant, you have C. So C obviously is just a suspended 4 chord. Then we have F. Is still a little bit more color, but it's still pretty basic. B flat. Once again, a little bit more color, but still not too out. Then we have E flat. This is where I started to see color gets a little bit more available. So like if you're doing something like a 2-5-1, right? And then go to E flat. Has a little bit of color to it versus like maybe C. That's kind of like standard. F. Let me see. We have A flat. We kind of know A flat because people do that so A flat. But this is where you start getting a little bit more colorful. So D flat, you start to get more into the way more color, a little bit more dissonant, especially in this voicing. Yep. And then the most dissonant one that we have before it gets too cluttery for me, at least, or stay within the framework of the hack, is the F sharp, which is a tritone. A tritone away from our melody note. So all you gotta remember, whatever's a tritone away or 3 whole steps. So 1, 2, 3. So 3 whole steps. That note is gonna be the most dissonant you can get while still remaining somewhat usable. So 2, 5. Very nice. So those are the colors. So that's the hack. You can legitimately use this anywhere. And you don't have to look at it as just a suspended chord resolving, because you can use the same concept if the melody note is on the E. So they're going. That's the melody note. You do the same concept. You get the octave, make it a suspended 4. And now we look a half step up from E's F, and we're going to play that major scale. So now we can use the notes from the F scale. So we have the first of F is F. So if you're doing a song, I'm sorry. You see, we can do G. I'm not sure that would sound too well. And it's all going to be up to you to determine what you think sounds best for what you use. So we can try A. That's kind of interesting. We got B flat. That's a lot of color on that. We have C. Well, obviously we have C. We know that voice, and a lot of us use that. We have D, so we could do. Wow, that's an interesting sound. And then I kind of will avoid the E, the same note. Not too useful in this setting, or at least in this voicing. But you can use, if you want to use it, you can use it. However, whatever you're gonna do. So yeah, and that goes the same if the melody's on the G, on the 5. So now we gotta go, what's a half step above G? A flat. So now we're gonna think about the A flat major scale in our right hand and have our suspended chord, G sus 4. So let's see how those will sound. Very interesting. Let's try B flat. Whew. I like that B flat. We can try C, which is kind of standard normally. Yeah, that's very powerful and kind of just on the 1. Because we're still in the key of C. As you can tell, we're still in C. It's just the top note is what determines which scale we use. So that's why I didn't want you to look at it as a sus resolving, because it's not necessarily that. So we were at C. Now we can do D flat. So a lot of color right there. Let's try E flat. F, interesting. And then, I mean, G can be used, but I tend to avoid doubling the bass notes and the melody note unless I'm ending a song normally. That's just my preference. Cool. So that's all of them. So let's take these concepts and apply it to Mary Had a Little Lamb. Now, obviously, we can go throughout every melody note and do the concept for every melody note. So for level 1, we'll keep it more on the simple side and just use certain words, certain melody notes to use the technique on. So let's use it on had. So Mary had. We'll go here. So obviously we're gonna be in the key of C. And we're keeping the same concept. So whatever the melody note is, we're gonna build that sus4 chord and then go a half step above and add our power chords. All right, over that major scale. So we have Mary had. So now we have a whole bunch of options. We have the C sharp, or we call it D flat. So let's see how that sounds. Instant. Let's try E flat. Let's try F. Yeah, that's kind of common almost. Let's try F sharp. A lot of dissonance on that one. A lot of color. A flat. Okay, let's try B flat. That's nice as well. They're all pretty good. They all have their own feeling and their own emotion. So that's why I say it's up to you to determine how you use the colors. There's no one way or the only way. Is what sounds best to you and what the emotion you want to portray and bring out, and find a voice and that helps to portray those emotions. So we got that. And for me, I guess I'm gonna just stick with the E flat for now. So I kind of like the way it pushed me. Kind of is moving forward almost for me. So I'm gonna choose E flat for now. So let's move on. Little lamb. So now we're gonna be on the E. So we're gonna build. So you can obviously stay on one note. You can just go so if you go on the F, because we're gonna go half step above is key of F. So we can just stay on one note. For me, I like to, anytime on the melody note is the same melody note, I like to go to different, like just move my left hand on each note to give a lot more movement. I could give you maybe 2 like pretty standard ones that kind of work really good like every time. If it's like 3 notes, going from like F to A to B flat, which we'll kind of look at. If we look at it in the key of F as a number system, that'll be kind of like a 1, 3, 4. Kind of always sounds good. Also, a 5, 4, 3 sounds pretty good normally too. Yeah, I kind of like that one a lot. 5, 4, 3. So let's hear them both real quick. So we have. Let me hear the 5, 4, 3. So we have I'm sorry, we have. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. Let's go with the. I'm gonna go with the 5, 4, 3 in the key of F progression. Okay. And then we have on the next melody note. So once again, we got like a 3 note. So D. We're gonna build this sus. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5. In the key of D. So that's D sus. And then we could try There's a lot of progressions. This is a common progression we use anytime we go into the 5. A lot of people we use this progression when you have the and I can key of C. You'll look at it as a flat 7, flat 6, and then 5. So with our chord voicing we're gonna keep it simple and just do the power chord. All right, because we're looking at it in the key of E flat. So we can use any E flat chord or power chord on the left hand. So that was a common one, that B flat, A flat, G. Let's try another one. Let's see E flat, C, B flat. Let's see how that sounds. So we have and we said E flat, C, B flat. Just instantaneous, like reharm, like instant, without a lot of thought. You can just pick your own 3 random notes within the scale and just see how it sounds, see how it fits in it. Most of them are gonna work just by how the chords are set up. It just works for the most part, you know. Obviously, it's up to you to see how dissonant you want to be, but it's almost instantaneous. Like, so that's another one. We can do. That's a good sound. So there. I went A flat right here because the G, half step up, A flat. So I'm looking at the key of A flat basically in my left hand. Right? So we have. Then we have. And then we have. Instantaneous. And obviously you don't have to utilize these chords and this concept for every note. Like, I'm just giving you an extreme, just going at it with this concept pretty much 90% of the chords. So once again, just keep in mind, it's up to you to see how much of it you utilize. But I'm just showing you the possibilities that this hack can give you. So now we can let's just fast forward to the end of the song. And now ending, we could do whatever we want, you know? We could go here, a snow, or snow, right? Or snow. I mean, it all can work. You know? And you can resolve them or not resolve them. You know, you can go. Or you can move around. You can go all the way down the scale. I mean, up to you. It's up to you. It's just there. That's level 1. All right, let's go to our level 2. So in level 2, we will now begin to use our major 7 voicings. So all of the same concepts from level 1 still applies. All those same, the way we find the scale we're going to use on our left hand and kind of the right hand melody note, all those stay the same. The only thing we're going to do is fill in the harmony to make a full major 7 chord on each of the different bass notes. My right hand, we're going to build the major 7. We're going to focus on having at least a 3rd and a major 7th in our right hand voicing somewhere. And then also we could probably mess with the 13 or we call it the 6 or the 13th. As preference as well. But we'll keep it simple for now. And then the left hand, I'm gonna focus more on a 159 voicing for all of them for the most part. And depending, we might stick with some power chords, depending if it's too fast movement. But for the most part, it's gonna be like a 1, 5, and 9 kind of voicing spread in the left hand. So let's look into the chords. Let's look into all the chords. Let's use C again as a melody note. And obviously all these chords, as far as like the way the voicing is shaped, is gonna transfer over to all the keys. So that's just gonna be on you now for just messing around with all the different keys and getting comfortable with all the voicings, mainly the inner voicings. So now let's look at let's look at the C as the melody note. And we know C, we're gonna go a half step up. So now I'm gonna move a little bit faster. I'm not gonna go into which scale I'm using for the most part. Like, you should be able to know at this point at level 2. If I'm playing C, I'm looking at my left hand is in the key of C sharp basically. Or if I'm playing D, my left hand is focused on the key of E flat. Or if I'm on F sharp, my left hand is focused on the key of G. All right, so let's move forward. So now I said we need we have the third, and the major 7 is already here. So we can either keep that Lydian sound, that G, or if you want to make it a little bit more consonant, not so dissonant, not as much color, you can just make that G become like a G sharp or A flat basically. And now it's a little bit more consonant, not too dissonant. They have their own use. So it's up to you to determine which color you use. And it all depends what key you might be in. Different things play a big factor in which one you can choose or which one may sound better in the moment. Let's look at E flat. So for E flat, and the way I'm looking at all these is like if C is the major 7, that means in the key of D flat, because D flat is the bass, so C is the major 7. That's the voicing we use. Either that or that. In the key of E flat, C is the 13, or you can look at the major 6, either one. Left hand spread, same. We need the third. We need the major 7. We could double up the melody note if you want to as well, or play it like this. So that's pretty much always gonna be, every time the melody note is the 6th of the bass note, this is gonna be kind of like this voice, and we're gonna mostly play either one. Now we're going to F. So this is now saying the melody note is the 5th. C is the 5th of F. So we have our left hand spread. We need the 3rd. We need the 7. We have the 9 is here, so I don't gotta add it here. We can add the 13, or we can just make it more consonant, not so much color. We can just keep it more simple just by doubling the melody. Either one. I mean, if you really want to, you can add this 9 again, even though it's here. That sounds pretty cool depending on the context we're playing. But for the foundation, like, this is kind of the basic of it, the notes we're gonna need. We can look at, so this is my favorite one almost of all of them. This is when we have the melody is the sharp 11 of the note, of the bass note. So sharp 11 is like basically finding the 4 and then sharpen it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sharp. So now with this one, I know I said we're gonna try and have the 3rd, which we do. I have my spread, my left hand, my right hand, 3rd. So now I could go here and have the major 7, third major 7, the top note we need. And that definitely works. You can double up the 9. For me, I kind of like having the 13 instead of the 7 because the sharp 11 already offers a lot of color and brightness to the sound in the chord. I don't have to add the major 7 so much to make it sound kind of open and bright. So I kind of stick with this voice, and every time I'm on this chord, anytime the melody is the sharp 11. Let's go on. Let's go to A flat. So this one is pretty simple. We have the left hand spread, and our right hand we have the we have the 3rd, so that kind of worked out. We have the 5th, but this is what we mainly need is that the major 7, and you could either add the 13 here. That sounds really good. Or if you want to keep it a little bit more simple, like the other chord, you can just make it on the 5th at E flat. A little bit more color, a little bit less, or you can move around however you want to do it. So now we have the B flat. So we have our spread. We need the 3rd. We need the major 7. And then, so that's the essence. But you can add, if you want to double the 5th, you can, or you can add that 13 again, or you can add them all. Either one, they all kind of work. It's up to you to determine the colors, but at least try to have the 3rd and the 7. And then this is one trick, or one, not trick, but I guess one deviant or difference. This is just one. So this is just one difference than all the other ones. Unless you're resolving, then if the melody note, the bass note and the melody note are the same, I don't like going major unless I'm finishing my reharm stuff. But if I want to continue to reharm, I'll go minor. And I normally use this voicing. So I use a 1 and a flat 7. I use that flat 3rd. I use a 5th in my right hand. And then obviously the top note is going to be the same. So this will help me continue like reharming. So now we have more of a fuller sound. More, to me, is more color than just a stagnant, you know? Like, that's very good. It gets you going, but I feel like this opens up the sound to have a more reharmonized sound. Let's use these same chords in our Mary Had a Little Lamb arrangement we've been working on. So we started with so I went to that E flat. So I'm gonna use that this chord now. So let's see how that sounds. Nice. So obviously you can use any. I'm gonna show you that Lydian sound again. That one when the major is the Lydian. So let's see. Oh man, very nice. We go to that D flat as well. That's nice as well. A flat. Nice as well. B flat. Sorry, one more time. Sorry. Right. Wait a minute. F. Yeah. What are we missing? I think that's all of them. Yeah, and I normally don't like going to the actual, if the bass note is the same as the melody, I try to avoid that unless I'm ending or resolving. So I probably will never really go. And it's not to say you can't do it. That's an interesting sound as well. But I like that E flat, even though the E flat is technically like the same movement. It just has a different push to me. Right? And we said we did C. Let's first try and hear what it sounds like doing that same progression that the F, A, B flat. That's how that sounds with the new chords. Because F is major 7 now. So we can make major 7. So now these are when the colors really start to come into play, because you're starting to use different chords that's not really related to the key we're in. So let's see how that sounds. That's nice. Let's do that on 5, 4, 3. The C, B flat, A. Let's try how that goes with the major 7 chords. So we have. So I could do that. B flat, A. I could add that 13 here if I want to as well. So one more time. It's just instantaneous almost. It's like you just find any bass note within that scale of the major scale, and you just fill in the harmony after that, and it's like instantaneous reharmonization to the different melody notes, to reharmonizing songs, just like that. Wow. All right, and then we said so we have that little lamb. So that's kind of a common move going to the 5 sometimes, a reharm move. So, but I think we did E flat, C, B flat. I think I did. Yeah, that was what it was. So I could go. Just like that. And then I think I went to D flat. Yep. So let's go back from the top. And I said, sorry. And then I went Wow. And then however you want to end it. Or you can say snow. Wow, see? The possibilities. And once again, obviously you don't have to use every chord. It doesn't have to be that concept and that reharm technique or this hack. There's so many different other techniques as well. So we're just going into the possibilities of what it can be. So now we're moving to level 3. We are finally at level 3. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not too versed in level 3, I got into level 3 after I kind of formulated this whole breaking this whole concept down to a simple form. I've never really I never heard this ideal or heard this breakdown of this concept before. This is what I've kind of came into. And by going into this, I got into level 3, which is now using progressions. And this is kind of where it took me like, whoa, kind of like, okay, now I see the power in this whole technique. So basically, we can use progressions. You can use, anything, 1, 3, 4, whatever you want to use. Right now, you can use 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. You can use, whatever you want, 4, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. It's so much. I'm gonna start with just 2, 5, 1, which is kind of foundational. So basically, what we're gonna do is just use a 2, 5, 1 progression to whatever chord we're landing on. So whatever reharm chord, that's our home note. That's the final chord we're going to. We'll do a 2, 5, 1 to that chord. We're keeping that melody note on top. So we're gonna use standard 2, 5, 1 harmony, meaning we're going to use a minor 7 over the 2. We'll use a dominant 7 over the 5, and then a major 7 over obviously our major 7 is the 1 chord. So I will say the only chord that doesn't work for the 2, 5, 1 standard harmony as well is when you go to the chord that's the tritone, the major 7 away. So how we were in C when C was the melody note, and F sharp was the bass note. Because C is already the major, and the 2 and F sharp is that G sharp, or you can look at A flat. That's already dominant, so that's not our typical 2, 5, 1 harmony. So that's why for that one alone, we're gonna deal with just all major 7s. So 2, that'll be the 2. 5 is D flat. We're still same major. 1. Okay. So let's see what our 2, 5, 1 harmonies look like for each of our major chords. So let's go back saying C is the melody note. So let's start with B flat since I'm already at B flat. So 2 and B flat is C. And then what I'm going to do for my left hand, I'm going to stick to more like a 1, 5, I guess you'll say a flat 10 or the minor third. 1, 5, I call it a flat 3, just for simplicity's sake. And then for our 5, we're going to keep like a shell normally, just 1, flat 7. Sometimes I might add the third, but most of them I'm going to keep it to 1 and flat 7 at least. And then obviously our 1 is the 1, 5, 9 kind of spread. Now the right hand for the minor chord, nothing too fancy. I mean, it all depends on where I'm at and for what I draw for. However, for the 7, when we go to the dominant 7, I'm gonna always try and have at least the 13 in the chord. Not so much the third, even though that's very necessary, but I find having the 13 color a little bit more colorful for the whole change. Find the 13 very colorful. So we have, right? Now we go to A flat. That's the 1. So what's the 2? B flat. So we can do the 1, 5, that minor third. And then we just have our standard. Got 13. Right? So we already talked about the F sharp whenever the melody is a tritone away from the bass, or how you want to look at it. It's a Lydian note. We're gonna just do all majors. Go to F. The 2 is G. It's a good voicing for the 2. We can do this voicing. I like having that 13, as I said, with my dominant. Another little hack you can do is just add that note a half step above on your right hand. That's a really nice voicing as well. So either one. Or you can just keep it simple. Sorry. Yep. E flat. Oh, let's go E flat major. Yeah. So the 2 is F. 5. Now you don't have to add this E. That's kind of the main voicing. But if you want to add a little tension, you can add tension to pretty much any 5 you want to go to. All the 5s you can add, you know. As long as there's no top note is the same. You know, so like 2, 5, 1, 2. Let me see. An E. Yeah. Well, obviously that's not gonna change. We talked about this one. 2 and keep B flat, so E flat. So now we have 2, 5. You know, so all of them. Now this one's a little bit weird because now we're doing like a minor 6 kind of sound over the 2 going to D flat. So that's some top notes, so we gotta leave it. My left hand is the same. If you want to add a little bit of color, you know, the 13 is still here, or you can keep it more basic. You know, just have double the bass note. So or you can make it a little bit more colorful. You know, it's all up to you how you want to voice all these chords. So now that we have the 2-5-1, how do we use this now? So basically, we can use a 2-5-1 going to the chords we've already selected. And with a 2-5-1, you can almost look at it as you could do 2 chords over 1 melody note almost. So it's almost like moving a lot quicker over the melody note. So let's go back to our Mary Had a Little Lamb, and let's see if we can apply some 2-5-1s. Now this is where it gets super busy. Once again, you know, it's up to you how much color you want to use, how far you want to go with this concept and this hack. But it's just there for you to grab quick colors and quick movements on the spot almost. Or if you're creating a song or creating an arrangement, you can just go to the concept, this hack, and draw for some ideals, you know. And you may start very fancy, but you may simplify it down at the end, or however you want to look at it. But let's get into the 2-5-1, the progressions. Obviously, it's not limited to just 2-5-1. This is why I say it gets pretty endless, because you can start doing a lot more progressions. You can start do tritone subs for the 5. You can make the 2 major instead of minor. You can, it's truly endless, and that's going to be up to you to see how far you want to go with this hack. And if you got some cool ideas, definitely please share them with me. Tag me and stuff. Tag me in your videos. Tag me in your breakdowns. Tag me in anything. Like, share them with me. You know, sharing is caring. So let's get into this Mary Had a Little Lamb using our 2-5-1 and our major 7 voicings, using the minor chords, dominant chords, major chords, and see how it goes. So we had the beginning. So I went to the E flat. So let's just stick with the progression I kind of been using, you know. That way we're not going through all the different examples. You can definitely go back and just do your own examples and do your own, you know, movements if you want to. But I'm going to just, for time's sake, I'm going to just stick with the progressions we've been using. So we have the E flat. So with this E flat, you know, I have 2 options. You don't always have to do the 2, 5, 1. You can also just do a 5, 1. So I can, if I want to, I could go. Or I can do. and kind of move to the next melody note, which works because that D half step up, E flat, so I could use E flat. So as you can see, I used 2 chords. I had 2 chords over 1 melody note. Sorry, one more time. Right? And then we said, so yeah, so once again, I mean, I can go 2 5 1 to C. I could do 2 5 1 to, well, 2 5 1 to B flat won't work because B flat is that tritone away, so I have to do all majors. So I can, if I wanted to, I could really stretch it out and let me see how it goes. And then do a 2 5 1 to that A, 2 5, or I can do, sorry, that 13, 2 5 1. You know, that's a lot. I don't even think I can really hit that right now. Let me see. That's too much for me. Let's keep it simple. Let's just do the 5. Well, technically we're in the 1 of the key we're in. That's C, B flat, and then we'll hit a 2 5 1 to the A major 7. All right. So we have. Yeah. Sorry. It's a lot. Right? And then I said E flat, C. I said it's so we can do, so once again, I'm not gonna do the 2 5 1 until the last home note. Well, you can, if you really wanted to, you can still do your 2 5 1s to each of these notes. So you can do a 2 5 1 to E flat, 2 5 1 to C, and then a 2 5 1 to B flat. You know, it's so much, but I'm gonna keep it simple, at least in the concept of what we're doing. All right, so we have little. All right, so. And then we can do, and then we said, we can do a 2 5 1. So from here, we can do a, you know, even going here, I could throw a 5 in. And I could do a 2 5 1 to, because our end note was that D flat, so I could do a 2 5 1. But you know, because it's Lydian, I gotta do all majors. So, so let me see. Yeah, or you can just do, sorry. Or keep it more simple. Either one. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to show you. There's a lot of different ideas you can come out with this, you know, that you can find. And we can just kind of just go home. And then we can end. No 2 5 1s. That's it.